Let's take a look at one more feature of the morph transition. So far, we have these slides set up so that it smoothly animates a zoom into the top photo and then slides down to the other two photos here on the left. Let's say that when we come to each photo, I want to add a larger version of the person's name below their picture. I'll go to the first zoom in slide, and under the Insert tab, I'm going to add a text box. I'll just click down here, and I'll type in Kelly Cole's name. Let's select all that and change the color to white so we can actually see it. And let's also make it larger, maybe 36 point, and I'll also make it bold. All right, and let's center that under the photo. All right, so now I want to do the same for the other two photos, and I want to see how the morph transition affects this text box. Now remember, in order for morph to apply, you have to have a copy of the object on the next slide. So I'm going to right-click this text box and choose Copy. And I'll go to the next slide. Here I'll press Ctrl-V to paste. And I'll change this name to George Carson. And let's move that under the photo. And I'll go to the third slide. Ctrl-V to paste again. And this is Bethany Smith. And maybe for fun this time, I'll just move this here to the left of the photo. All right, let's go back to the overview of the org chart and check this out in slideshow mode. So I press the space bar, we zoom in, and we see the name appear. I press it again, we slide down to the next photo, that name appears, and it does the same thing one more time. So right now the text we added is just kind of fading in and fading out, and if that's what you want, that's fine, but let's see what else we can do. Let's go to the George Carson slide. This is where the first text morph happens, and under the Transitions tab, where we already have morph selected, I'm going to go to Effect Options, and let's choose Characters. So if you just saw that preview, you saw that it took the letters that Kelly Cole has in common with George Carson, and it carried them through the animation. We'll see this again in just a moment, but let's first do the same thing on the next slide. So again, I'll come up to Effect Options, and I'll set this to Characters. And again, in the preview, we see those characters carry through to the next slide. All right, let's go back to the top here and go into slideshow mode to check this out. So I'll press the space bar. We zoom in, the name appears. I press it again, and we see those letters carry through to the next slide. And one more time, like so. So the morph effect applies to the objects that are in common between slides. And when you have text copied between slides, it will apply additional effects depending on whether you have word or character selected here under Effect Options. You'll probably have to play around with the effect settings to see which effect works best, but animating text this way is another good technique for adding continuity and carrying your audience's attention between slides.